Welcome back, Great Calculus. Did you take me up on my challenge and go try this entire page on your own? Hopefully some of you did. All right, for 10 and 11, they give us covertices and foci. Well, covertices, remember, that's your minor axis, which means the midpoint between these two is still going to be the center, but the length from here to the center or from here to the center is going to be my B value, not my A value. So first let's find the midpoint so we can find our center. So 0 minus 6 divided by 2, 6 plus 6 divided by 2. 0 minus 6 is negative 3, 0 minus 6 is negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. I have a hard time here. 6 plus 6 is 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we know we've got x minus a minus 3 squared plus y minus 6 squared is equal to 1. Now our b value is going to be the distance either from 0 to negative 3 or negative 6 to negative 3, so b is 3. But I don't know which one these go until we think about, are we having a vertical minor axis or a horizontal? So if I've got to plot 0, 6, that's going to be, say, here. Negative 6, 6 is, say, here. So I've got a vertical minor axis, which means overall this ellipse is going to be horizontal. If my smaller axis, overall it's going to be vertical. If my smaller axis is horizontal, the ellipse itself is going to be vertical. So the B is going to go underneath the x's because the B is your horizontal length, right? So 3 squared is going to be 9. All right. And again, they didn't give us the major axis, so we're going to have to go find A by using the foci. So what's the distance between 6 and 6 plus 2 square root 10? Or 6 minus 2 square root 10? The difference here is going to be 2 square root 10. Whoa. 2 square root 10. That's my C value. So C squared is going to be 2 squared, which is 4, times square root 10 squared is going to be 10. 4 times 10 is 40. Now we know 40 then, which is C squared, is equal to my A squared, which we're looking for, minus B squared, which is 9. So A squared is going to be equal to 31. No, it's not. Why is this not matching? When we move the 9 over, Miss Harris, what happens to it? We add it to the 40, not subtract it. So 9, when we move it over, would be 49, not 31. All right, let's see if I do better on number 11. Hopefully you got 10 better than me. All right, the midpoint of my covertices is going to be my center. So negative 9 minus 9 divided by 2. Negative 3 minus 11 divided by 2. That's going to be negative 18 divided by 2, which is negative 9. Negative 3 minus 11 is negative 14. Divided by 2 is negative 7. So I've got x minus a minus 9 squared, y minus a minus 7 squared, always equal to 1 there. The distance between negative 3 and negative 7 is 4, but that's my minor axis, so my b is going to be 4. Let's see, is this guy going to be a horizontal or vertical? So I've got negative 9, negative 3, and the negative 9, negative 11 is way down here. So my minor axis is vertical, so the ellipse itself is going to be horizontal. The major axis is going to be horizontal. So the b is going to go under the y's, so b squared would be 4 squared, which is 16. Now we're going to use our focus to find our A value. I can get this to scroll up so I can erase and we can see. All right, it's the distance between negative 9 plus 4 square root 3 and negative 9. What's going to be that 4 square root 3? When we square it, it's going to be 4 squared, which is 16, times 3, square root 3 times square root 3, which is 3. And that's going to be 42. Now our C squared, which is 42, is equal to A squared minus B squared. We don't know A squared, but I know B is 4, so B squared is 16. Now when I add 16 to the other side, I get 58 for a squared. No, I don't, Miss Harris. I've done something wrong here. Oh, 16 times 3, I hope you're screaming at me. That's not 42, Miss Harris, that's 48. So this is going to be equal to 48. 48 plus 16 is equal to 64. And since it's a horizontal axis, ellipse, that's going to go under our x's. All right, I'm 0 for 2. Let's see how I do on number 12. The length of my minor axis again. So now we're talking about the minor axis is 8. And the foci are 11, 0, and 5, 0. Well, shooby-dooby. What's wrong with this one? I know the length of my minor axis is 8, but I can't tell, is that vertical or is that horizontal? Well, that's where the foci come into play. So where do the foci always lie? They're always on the major axis. So we're going to have to use this piece here to tell whether we've got a horizontal or a vertical ellipse. So what's the distance between, when we plot 11, 0, not up there, it'd be out here somewhere, and 5, 0, right? Well, halfway between those two guys is going to be my center, but what's most important is this is also going to be on my major axis, and since this is horizontal, my overall ellipse is going to be horizontal, which means the length of my minor axis, which is 8, half of that is going to be my b value, which is 4, and it's going to go under my y's. First, we need to go find that center though. So let's find the midpoint between 11, 0 and 5, 0. So 11 plus 5 divided by 2, 0 plus 0 divided by 2. 11 plus 5 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. 0 plus 0 divided by 2 is still 0. And so I've got x minus 8 squared plus y squared is equal to 1. We know it's horizontal, so my b value, when I square it, is going to go under my y's. B squared is 16. And then we're going to have to use the foci again to find our a value. So the distance between 11 and 8 is 3. So c is 3, c squared is 9. So 9 is equal to a squared minus b squared, which we said was 16. When I move that 16 over, we know a squared then is 25. All right, I got through one without messing it up. That's not bad, right? 1 for 3. Well, hopefully number 13, 14, and 15 I do better on. See you in the last video.